Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the stream. I'm your host JD and we're live on YouTube and Beam. Thank you so much for hanging out with your boy today on this Monday evening. And I appreciate y'all hanging out and chilling with your boy JD, man. So take a few moments to just have a conversation. Hopefully those of you who are popping in and checking this out for a few moments are having a great Monday. And thank you so much for hanging out with your boy JD. Now, your boy woke up early this morning. We actually got up, and if you didn't check out what we were doing yesterday, we streamed not once but twice, and we used multiple different microphones. We used a Blue Yeti for the first part of the stream, and then we used a Rode NT. And after both of those streams, after they ended, I was like, you know what, let me listen in on this. Let me review the VODs. And I'm listening, I'm like, man, this is rough. So I'm sitting here, I'm listening to the microphone and on both of them, and I was speaking into them. I wasn't using them properly, okay? Your boy was not using them properly. And if you listen back on those VODs, you can tell immediately. Sounds awful. We're talking about everything's loud and muffly. It's like I'm shouting and screaming at you. So my bad. My bad. So what I did this morning, we reviewed it, listened to it. I'm like, damn, what I gotta do? What does the brother gotta do to fix this stuff? So did some research, reviewed some videos, and we just fine-tuned some stuff. We went from what it sounded like yesterday, and I actually invite you, if you really want to, listen to those live streams yesterday and just listen to how this terrible it sounded, right? And I couldn't even stand listening to it. So I'm like, if I can't stand listening to it, I cannot imagine someone else from the outside wanting to listen to whatever the hell I have to say. And so I'm like, I get it. I won't hold you to it. You know what I'm saying? I can't hold you to it. Damn, that's very, very loud. I have to adjust that. But anyways, that being said, man, we locked everything in. I feel this sounds a lot better, and feel free to leave some feedback after you listen to, you know, yesterday's VODs compared to what we're doing today. I hope it sounds better. Of course, I'm going to review it and listen to it to make sure everything sounds good. But yeah, I'm very happy that we got that fine-tuned and fixed. It was annoying the hell out of me. I had to essentially start over from scratch. We went to stage gained. I repositioned the microphone so it's not directly in front of my mouth. In fact, you can't even see the microphone because it was too close to me. These microphones weren't designed to be talking directly into it. These are not the Shure SM7B that everybody and their grandmothers are using out there. I see I just hit it. My bad. Sorry. But yeah, man, we took care of that, and then we added the filters. That we locked everything in with the stage gaining, and from there we applied a compressor, an expander, noise gate, because it's pretty noisy in here. I got a fan running up top. Sometimes I got a window fan running because, you know, where we at, you got to keep them things running. So when it comes to the sound stuff, we're kind of already behind the 8 ball there, but we got to use the software to get things fixed. And then from there, we EQ it. And again, you just got to do it. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully, like I said, hopefully everything sounds better. And from there, spent the day just getting this fine. Then we actually went and purchased a Steam controller, folks. Oh man, I was prepared. I'm telling you, I was not messing around. Your boy JD, we were prepared, and it was still a little bit rocky, and I kind of almost missed the opportunity just because of how things can go when you're waiting for something to drop and you want to at least get something so you can get it. And trust and believe, I am not like one of these godforsaken scalpers. If you're a scalper out there, you went out of your way to go and get this stuff, man, shame on you. Shame on those scalpers, man. You making it hard for everybody else. It's crazy. So as you know, the Steam controller is $99. And shout outs to Steam, to Valve, for making shipping free, but a 3 to 5 business day turnaround, you know, they cover the charges for that shipping. So you got to show some love to Valve for doing that. They definitely didn't have to give you free shipping, free 3 to 5 day shipping. Didn't have to do that, and they did it. So shout outs to them. I do give them a little bit of criticism because it's just a revolving cycle. No matter where you go, whether it's Amazon, Walmart, Target, anywhere, like if you're trying to get the next hot thing, which it's just a controller, folks. I don't really consider that hot, but it's Valve, and you know, they've been doing some interesting things, especially with everything going on with the console competition recently. With all of that, man, like, you're just rooting for Steam to just hand it to Sony, to hand it to Nintendo and Microsoft, man. You rooting for Valve, handing, you know, dishing some L's over to Epic. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, your boy was prepared, got ready, made sure I had my debit card ready, had my credit card ready, just in case something went wrong with the debit card. We were gonna be ready for the credit card, right? And it's 9:57. I'm waiting, and I thought Valve was prepared because you were on that page. You saw it was constantly refreshing on its own. I didn't have to press F5. It was F5ing itself. And from there, it's like, okay, well, you just gotta wait. I hit F5 to refresh the page. It is 9:59. And it's like, order now. I'm like, oh snap, we gotta go and get it. We got to go and get that jammy. You know what I'm saying? I'm out here, oh my god, I gotta get it. You know what I'm saying? So like, from there, I'm going through it, and you know how the Steam process goes. You're on Steam, you're placing your order for a game or whatever. The controller was the same process. You confirm your item, you put it in your cart. From your cart, you check out. It's going to confirm your shipping address. And I feel like I need to make some adjustments to that, because when I click continue, it's like, oh, we have a suggestion for your address. Like, I don't give a shit what you think. Just put it in there so we can get to the payment part, so we can complete this process. Don't make me miss this controller because you have some variation with my address. I ain't got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. You know what I'm saying? Like, miss me with it. So we get past that, and we're at the point of the payment part. Like, what are you going to be using to pay for the controller? And this is the first hurdle. Even though I already had a card on file, you click continue, you just got this weird bar saying, hey, there's an issue. We're having an issue connecting or whatever. Like, try again in a few moments. It's like, we can't do that. Because if you watched the news online on Twitter, the reports stated that the Steam controller sold out in 30 minutes. I'm like, what? 30 minutes? Anyways, I'm like, bro, we gotta... Now your boys, like, we're clicking continue, we're trying to get past that page, and just continuing to say, no sir, there's something going on, try again. I'm like, bro. So I'm like, you know what, all hands on deck. I'm just spamming that continue button. I'm spamming it. I don't care. I kept hitting it. Finally, we get to the confirmation page. It's all done. Congratulations, you are, you know, you have a controller. Here's your confirmation number. Here's the email for your confirmation. You're good to go. I'm like, cool, no problem. I'm like, that was a 2-minute thing. Well, 3 minutes, consider it was 9:59. It was a 3-minute ordeal. And you heard people all over Twitter saying the same thing. They experienced the same issue I did. I don't know how aggressive they were by spamming that continue button. There were some people saying, hey, you should probably put 100 and whatever the cost would be to get the controller, get that in Steam credit, like load that up. So you essentially have a prepaid amount through your Steam account. They said try that to see if that worked. And I was looking at people's feedback. It's like, oh, it kind of worked or it didn't work. It was a mixed bag. And I'm like, kids, now if it didn't work, you're sitting on 120, 30, 70 bucks, $180 is sitting there. You can't get it back. You can't refund that credit back to your original form of payment. So it's like, what the hell are you going to do? So it is what it is. I'm like, damn. So I got lucky. I feel bad for those who couldn't get one, who wanted one. There are some folks like in the journal business, like in the gaming journalist side of things, who couldn't get one. I'm like, shh, sheesh, like I lucked out. I came prepared, man. I came prepared. I know how this stuff goes. And we know what happens when this stuff sells out in 30 minutes. You see the shit on eBay for $200, $300. Oh my God, Lee. What in the world, dude? I'm just like, what are we doing, man? Here. It blew me away. And the worst part about it is that those who scalped for the $250 to $300, people are buying it. You see, I've seen stuff sold for $300. People's got to get it. And if you got to get it and you got the money, you don't mind it, whatever. But it's still unfortunate because that means it gives people a reason to continue to scalp. You see what I'm saying? It doesn't do anybody any favors. Although, yeah, you might get your controller, which is great. You know, I'm not going to hold you for it. But like, then on the flip side, what's happening? You're just saying, okay, scalpers, okay to continue to scalp. And I am okay with paying 2-3 times the price of what it should be. I was 100% content. If I went through this process, I knew it was going to be rocky. I knew that if I wasn't going to be able to get one and it just sold out, I'm like, okay, it's fine. We'll just wait for the second one. And that is one thing that I've come to learn as we progress through time. It's just, it's okay. You know, another batch will happen. I would hope that Valve becomes better prepared, because if we're having this trouble with the controller and it's selling out in 30 minutes, God help you. God help you when the actual Steam machine comes out. It's going to be absolute chaos on Steam's application. That thing gonna explode on site. The second they push the button on that Steam machine, that thing is just toast. It's done. Rest in peace to the Steam application. Seriously, man, it was a rough experience. And I'm like, there has to be a way to circumvent the scalpers, man. I have to think there are going to be the majority of people who are interested in buying the Steam controller are people who already are deep into the Steam ecosystem, folks who are playing games on Steam day in and day out, even on the occasional level. There has to be a way. There has to be like, well, your account has been around for a couple of years, or you played about 10 hours of a game or something. Because I can promise you, there a lot of those folks who are scalping didn't play a minute of gameplay on Steam in their lives. They don't even have a Steam account. They just made one so they could buy a Steam controller and scalp it for double, triple the price. Who knows? I sure don't. Oh, what? There's rain in the forecast. In about an hour. Yep. Sorry, I'm kind of getting sidetracked. I just want to, I just saw on the phone that there's rain coming in the next hour. I'm like, cool. And look, we're gonna spend a few more minutes to this talk, and then we'll go over the Monday Night Raw review. You don't have to worry if you don't catch this live. The VOD will still be available, and I will make sure to timestamp the video so you can listen to just the review. But yeah, we're gonna just go ahead and summarize what happened, so you get your fix. You can go about your night, and then for those who want to see the full thing, it's going to be there for you. Okay, so starting with my notes, overall, this go home show for Monday Night Raw going to Backlash as this Saturday, I feel that it was okay. Like, it wasn't terrible, it wasn't dreadful, it certainly wasn't like SmackDown last week. SmackDown was it was strange. SmackDown was quite strange. There was more time on SmackDown for the gingerbread man than actual wrestling. Yes, I said the gingerbread man. It's wild. I just said that. But there's 4 matches in total. They went for, a reasonable amount of time. I don't time the matches. Maybe I should. I haven't thought about that, but maybe we should start timing the matches to see how long they are. But breaking things down, you had JD McDonough versus Finn Balor for the second time in the span of 3 weeks. So we are at WrestleMania. Finn Balor, the Demon, is going up against Dominic Mysterio. He gets the win at WrestleMania. The Monday after WrestleMania, Finn Balor goes up against JD McDonough. He beats JD McDonough. He beats him. So I'm like, this is done. He beats Dominic Mysterio. He beats JD McDonough. There is no one else. He's not going to go up against Liv Morgan or Roxanne, Perez, or Raquel Rodriguez. This is done. Let's move on. But no, for some reason, WWE is like, let's keep the storyline going. Let's, for some reason, continue this vortex of the Judgment Day and Finn Balor. So after he beats JD McDonough, the following week, he sneaks into the clubhouse for the Judgment Day, and he catches up to Roxanne Perez, and he's like, yo, you need to get up out of here, man. This ain't it. You need to get up out of here before you get knocked out and beat up and all this crap, right? And she's like, you need to get the heck out of here before they catch you and then beat you to end your life, right? I'm paraphrasing. Obviously, that's not what she said. But then we come to today, JD versus Finn Balor. And Phil, unfortunately, Finn does not get the win this time around. We'll talk more about how that went down, and we'll go from there. And it's just the Judgment Day vortex continues. Michael Cole even like had he's out here changing history yet again. Michael Cole's out here talking about, well, this is this and that's this when it comes to the Judgment Day. I'm like, no, sir. Like, you were there when this all went down. What are you talking about? That is inaccurate. We'll talk more about that as we go down the road. Oba Femi, he's going down there, and this is the Oba Femi Open Challenge. And remember, my philosophy is that when you're doing open challenges, that's just lazy booking. And I can understand why Oba Femi is in a open challenge situation, because it was either that or he's just going to be marching his way back into the ring and just watching whoever is in there. So it's like, it's either one way or the other. We might as well have the people come to him instead of him going to the opponent, I suppose. He also mentioned that, everyone's tied up. Cody Rhodes is tied up with Gunther. You have Roman Reigns is tied up with Jacob. United States Champion, Trick Williams, he's tied up with Sami Zayn and the Gingerbread Man. So there's not much going on. Penta, he's tied up with Rusev. So every championship he could go for is tied up. We retire Brock Lesnar, but we're subjected to an open challenge. I don't understand that, but it is what it is. If that was me, if that was someone who retired Brock Lesnar, that's catapulting me into the freaking World Heavyweight Championship. Or at least some kind of title match. That's something. But right now, open challenge? Help me understand. I don't get it. Here's what it is, man. We had a little segment between Ruca. She was signing her contract to be a Raw superstar, part of the Raw roster. But I'm not exactly even sure why we're even doing this, because what is the brand split, right? You got Gunther on SmackDown, you got Jacob Fatu on Raw. That's not their respective brands. The only people who should be able to bounce between show to show are the women's tag team champions, which is Nikki Bella and Paige. They are the only people who should be bouncing from show to show, because that was the stipulation of the women's tag team championships. If you win the women's tag team championships, you go on both shows. But for some reason, the men's tag team championships have 2 championships, one on each respective brand, yet they keep releasing the tag teams. There's like no tag teams there is no tag team division. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, what are we doing? It doesn't make any sense. It's just very mind-boggling to me, but it is what it is there. And obviously you have Roman Reigns, Jacob Fatu. They have a segment towards the end. The promo work for this go home show for Backlash. I actually have to commend them. It was really good. I actually went and took the time to actually type out word for word what these individuals said during their promos. And we'll talk a little bit more about that towards the end of the show. Usually when you getting beat down and the other opponent has the upper hand, usually the person in front has the opportunity to win the match at a PLE. So let's say if Roman Reigns is getting beat down by Jacob Fatu, and this has happened multiple times now, you would think it'd be obvious that Roman Reigns is retaining the WWE World Heavyweight Championship at Backlash. But there has been some news that's been coming out regarding Roman Reigns, regarding the fact that he's not scheduled for any Monday Night Raw in June, which I would believe is during the summer. Please correct me if I'm wrong. I don't keep track of this stuff, man. But when you say you're going to see my ass all summer, and then 3 weeks later, a whole month just gets released and just cut off, then we're hearing stuff like, well, he's not going to Night of Champions, which suggests he may not be holding the title at that point. But then you hear some other mess talking about, oh, this was a clerical error, we shouldn't have had him say that. It's like, well, you guys literally talk this stuff out before you do it, right? Creative writing team, you guys really do think this through before you pull the trigger. But they do real stuff, man. They really do. It just throws me for a loop, man. It does. So let's see. Let's go ahead and just kind of do some house cleaning stuff. I appreciate y'all very, very much again for hanging out with your boy JD. This is your Monday Night Raw review for May the 4th, 2026. This was in Omaha, Nebraska. But if you are interested in more content like this, and again, we're gonna do some extensive just talking about what happened in tonight's show. You enjoy this stuff, leave a comment down below. Let me know if you are interested in seeing more content like this. Consider hitting that like button, consider hitting that subscribe button, and all those things. Not sponsored by anybody. We're not partnered on YouTube. The goal is to hit 2,000 subscribers, folks. That's the goal. We can hit 2,000 subscribers. It will be the momentum that we need to continue to grow. I'm not even sure if I should just restart and just start from scratch. I can give you my story, or TLDR. Long story short, at one point a couple years ago, long time ago, well before 2020, we did get partnered on YouTube. We were partnered and our MCM was Freedom. We're doing things, but then YouTube decided to make a change, and understand it's a private business. They can make changes however they see fit. And instead of tracking your views in terms of your success of being partnered on the platform, they focus on watch time. Your boy didn't have the watch time, so your boy lost his partnership. So we have to start over from scratch. And I'm not sure if it's, keep this channel running and keep it going and keep it pushing, see if we can bring it alive, bring it back. Or should we start over from scratch again and just kind of refocus and see what's happening? We're talking about even considering changing things up, even the overlays and stuff like that. We've had this for a couple of years and I like it. I enjoy it. It works very well for me. It's my style, it's my colors, you know what I'm saying? But if it's not related to the theme, then, that's not making much sense. And we have to really be strategic about it. I don't have a circle. I don't have a group of folks telling me what to do. They don't advise me on anything. I have to do all this on my own. You know what I'm saying? We don't have a team. We don't have an editor. We don't have, resources like that. We have to be creative and just do the best what we can. So is what it is. So thank you so much. I appreciate y'all hanging out and chilling with your boy JD on this evening. And without further ado, let's get started. So first thing I noticed, the countdown, the hype video that you normally see before the start of the show. There's usually like a hype video 2 minutes before the clock hits 0 and Raw begins. There was no hype video. And I'm not exactly sure why they decided not to play a hype video, other than the fact that with the recent releases, they're going to have to rework it. Because, there's a lot of folks that's showing up on these things that aren't employed with WWE anymore. There was even a lot of chatter. I don't have the news in front of me. I don't have any of that stuff, but there was rumors that apparently TKO is trying to get these contracts renegotiated, stuff that's already set, already done. They signed on a dotted line. Handshakes were taking place. Word was bond. At least we thought word was bond. But now there's chatter apparently that they want to renegotiate a lot of these superstars' contract, about 50% of what they currently are. It's like, damn, you guys down that bad? Y'all trying to do everything to get every single cent for your bottom line, look good to your investors, so your stock can go up, and so your executives can continue to get tens of hundreds of millions of dollars in compensation. It don't make no sense to me, man. The advertisements you have plastered all over the map. The ads, the 3-minute ads, man, the 3.5, 4-minute ad segments. Like WrestleMania 1, day 1. WrestleMania 43, day 1. All you have to do is watch that. That is what they want to feed you. They rather feed you advertisements than feed you wrestling entertainment. It was absolutely disgusting. And they knew they messed up because day 2 was way better. And they're like, they still showed you a shit ton of ads, but the matches were a little bit longer. And, you know, it's a little bit better in terms of that. But, man, you can really tell they're really selling out. To the point where some shirts got dude wipes on it. Like, are we seriously putting other people's advertisements on the wrestler shirts now? Are we really doing that? It's absolutely, like, if they could tattoo advertisements on everyone's face, they would. If they could put advertisements on the Titantron, they would. And actually, if you watch AAA, they do that already down there. They got that shit locked in. They got that stuff on lock. They know exactly what they're doing with their ads in the middle of matches. You look at the Titantron, it's full of ads, hot sauce, and get these shoes and watch this next wrestling match or boxing match. You see all these ads on the Titantron. I don't doubt that WWE is probably going to start putting ads on the Titantron while you're trying to watch the match. This match is brought to you in part by Dude Wipes. It's already all over the apron and the barricade, and it's already on the tables. Slim Jim, you got Prime Energy this, and Papa John's that, and Netflix this, and Peacock that. It's like there's ads everywhere. And that's not enough to pay the bills. That's not enough to keep your word on the contracts you originally signed for these superstars. I don't understand that. But already, we're going off the rails. Raw starts in Omaha, Nebraska. You see the folks starting to make their way into the arena. I had to ask myself the question of the Creed brothers. The Creed brothers, which are... we got Brutus and Julius Creed. I had to write them down because we don't see them that much on Raw anymore. So I done forgot about them. I don't know their names anymore. I had to write the shit down. Yeah. So Brutus and Julius Creed. Let me put this on that so that stops. But yeah, man, it's like, and then they had masks on. You had the OG El Grande Americano rocking backstage. He finds Julius and Brutus Creed with masks on. I'm like, what happened? Why are they wearing masks? Are they luchadors now? What's happening? No clue. Anyways, the next scene you see Roman Reigns. He pulls up in his, chauffeur vehicle. He comes out. He storms out the vehicle. He is upset. He's heated. He's ready to walk into the ring. He's making his way towards Gorilla. As he's doing this, Adam Pearce catches up to him. He's trying to tell him what's happening. It's like, I don't care about that. I'm moving my way into the ring. I need to address the people. I need to handle Jacob Fatu. And then Adam Pearce is like, that's the thing. He's not here yet. He's going to make his way through. Until then, you just going to have to chill. And while that's just happening, Roman looks to his left and he sees Seth freaking Rollins. Seth freaking Rollins is sitting there. He's like, yo, you in my way. And so Roman lets him pass. He lets Seth Rollins go into the ring. He's about to address the WWE Universe. But before he could even do that, he's on the ramp. He's about to get into the ring, and he gets ambushed by Braun Breaker. Braun ambushes Seth before he can make the ring. They're brawling outside, right out by the out on ringside. Braun Breaker actually, like, he lifts Seth Rollins, he puts him at a military press, and he tosses them onto the barricade. Right after that, security and the writing team is coming out to break everything up. It's like, stop, break it up. But Braun breaks through all of that. And then he takes Seth, he throws him into the steel steps. Adam Pearce now tries to get involved to break everything up. It's like, please, can we just stop for once? Can we stop doing this? From there, Braun breaks away from that as well. He runs into the middle of the ring and he hits Seth Rollins with a spear in the middle of the ring. After that, Braun Breaker gets out of the ring. He heads back towards Gorilla, goes back to the locker room. Seth Rollins is just reeling in pain. He's moving his way up. And then we're moving on to the next segment, which goes into the Judgment Day segment. From there, they're actually recapping what happened last week. When they were preparing for their match last week, Judgment Day heads out. Roxanne Perez is like, I need a few moments to chill for a minute. Let me kind of get ready, and I'll meet y'all out there. And before she heads out of the Judgment Day clubhouse, in comes Finn Balor. This is last week, and he's like, hey, you need to get your ass out of the Judgment Day. Get out of here while you still can before you get beat down. And she's like, why? Why are you even here? You need to get the heck out of here. This was last week, by the way. From there, we go into the segment in the Judgment Day clubhouse, and Liv is asking Roxanne, what was that last week? Why do I have to see what's going on through Netflix? What's going on? Can I trust you? What's going on with you and Finn? Liv says that she believes in Roxanne, and basically Roxanne is like, look, I was just telling Finn, look, man, I don't know why you're trying to approach me, but you need to get the heck out of here. You can see the footage. You saw this. Just get the heck out of here, right? So from there, Liv says, yes, I believe in you. I believe in you and Raquel Rodriguez as you guys pursue your goal for Tag Team Championship Gold. And so basically at that point, Liv asks if she can promise that she won't keep any more secrets away from the Judgment Day. And Roxanne says, yes. Liv says, yes. What? Roxanne says, I promise I won't keep any secrets from the Judgment Day going forward. From there, it transitions into the ring. Finn Balor's music hits. He's coming into the ring for his match against JD McDonough. And this is where I was like questioning. It's like, didn't they just have a match 2 weeks ago? Like, why are we recycling this match? Don't you have a big, massive roster? Can, give some other folks some time? Apparently not. And we have to continue this Judgment Day vortex. Anyways, they tie it up. They're doing some chain wrestling in the middle of the ring. Dominic Mysterio, he is grabbing Finn Balor's leg while JD is distracting the referee, Jessica Carr. At this point, JD has Finn at the turnbuckle, and they are exchanging chops against one another. At this point, Michael Cole says something silly. I'm sitting here like, what is he saying here? He's saying that Finn is one of the guys who formed the Judgment Day. I'm like, sir, that is incorrect. Ladies and gentlemen, it has not been that long. The Judgment Day, if you remember correctly, who were the founding members? The founding members of the Judgment Day was Edge, aka Adam Copeland now, who's in AEW, Rhea Ripley, and Damian Priest. Those were the three founding members of the Judgment Day. From that point forward, then it was Dominic Mysterio. And from there, it was Finn Balor. He's the fifth member of this thing, not a founding member. I don't know what Michael Cole is like, what's going on? Like, it's probably something that's written down. He's looking at it or whatever, but it's like, how did they not get this right? I'm sure they're trying to twist it, obviously, because they don't want people to be like, well, Edge was there. And I don't understand why they have this incorrect information, though. It's still incorrect. They don't have to mention that he was a founding member because he wasn't a founding member of the Judgment Day. That belongs to Edge, Rhea Ripley, and Damian Priest. So I don't understand that. Anyways, from there, before Finn, let me see, make sure. Before Finn could attack JD with an over rope moonsault, Dom grabs Finn's leg again to stop his momentum while Jessica Carr was counting JD McDonough out. He was outside the ring at this point. He was at ringside as he got tossed out. As Jessica Carr was counting, Dominic Mysterio was grabbing his leg before he can go and do that diving moonsault to distract and, you know, mess around with Finn Balor's momentum. As this is happening, Roxanne Perez is starting to make her way to ringside, and then they go to break. After the break, JD has Finn Balor in a chokehold. Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez are making their way to the ring. They go to ringside. From there, JD and Finn are trading blows. Finn gets the upper hand and hits a back body drop on JD, followed by stomps to the chest. Then we hit the sling blade, followed by something else. But then Dom gets involved again. He interferes. It results in JD rolling up Finn Balor. Finn kicks out at 2. JD hits a standing Spanish fly. Actually, it looked kind of interesting because he didn't get it all. He hits the Spanish fly, but he like lands on like the upper shoulder. And from there, you could actually see the welts on the back of Finn Balor. Like it just didn't look like it was hit 100% perfectly. So yeah, it looked kind of rough. It looked like someone may have got hurt there, but they seemed to be okay towards the end of it. Finn kicks out at 2 after that. From there, Finn kicks JD. Finn's going for his finisher, the coup de grace. He's going from ringside. He's going up to the turnbuckle, but Dom interferes again. He interrupts while Finn Balor is up on the turnbuckle, and he drops. He hits his midsection. Jessica has essentially had enough. She must have saw this. I didn't see her seeing this, but I think she's like, wait, what the hell's going on? Enough. Dominic Mysterio, get out. So Jessica's had enough and kicked Dom out of the situation. He goes towards the back. During the situation, JD went for a moonsault, but Finn keeps his knees up, preventing that moonsault from hitting. From there, he rolls up JD, and JD kicks out at 2. Finn hits the sling blade, and while this is going on, Liv goes up on the apron and distracts Jessica Carr. While she's distracting Jessica Carr, Liv Morgan gives Roxanne Perez a hammer from the timekeeping station. During the break, Dominic Mysterio actually grabs the timekeeper's hammer. So that's what happened. I typically don't cover what happens during the break because it's break, and I'd rather go get something to drink or, you know, get a snack or whatever during these breaks, because nothing really happens during the breaks. On occasion, someone can get hurt during these segments, but that's rare. And I'm not gonna sit here. I'd rather go do something else and kind of refresh before we get into the next thing. From there, there's yet another distraction by Liv Morgan. From there, Roxanne actually hits Finn Balor with the hammer right in the head. From there, JD hits Finn with his big ass head with a headbutt. JD goes down. Well, Finn goes down. JD pins 1, 2, 3, and JD McDonough wins the match via pinfall. Judgment Day Vortex continues. Woo. Yeah, man. Sorry for the empty space right there. I just had to make sure I re-energize, make sure we're in a good spot, you know? Yeah, you have to make sure we're good there. So after that, we move on to backstage. You got Jackie Redmond's in the back. She catches Seth Rollins while he's recovering from Braun Breaker's spear earlier in the show. She's basically being like, you good? Like, what's happening? Seth basically says, if you're going to do something, you need to finish the job. Braun didn't finish the job, and he is not dead yet. He essentially walks away, and we go to break. From there, there was a segment with Los Americanos Humanos. So this is with the original El Grande Americano, Chad Gable, along with his cronies, Well, not cronies, but you know what I'm saying, Brutus Creed and Julius Creed, and they're wearing masks now. I guess they can't be luchadors. There's no way. And like, I don't understand how this is just getting so out of hand. I barely even covered that 6-man tag because I don't even know the names of everyone that's in there. I know the OG El Grande Americano with Chad Gable. I know the new El Grande Americano with Ludwig Kaiser. Then from there, I know that you have Rio. I see, like, all the names is all messed up. I'm like, I can't keep track of this shit. I can't do it. I'm gonna have to eventually. I'm gonna keep reviewing this stuff, but I can't keep track of all the names and all the masks and all this stuff. I can't do it. I don't got time for it, man. So from there, they're actually recapping what happened last week between Roman Reigns and Jacob Fatu from last week. And essentially, they're talking about Michael Cole's having this conversation with Corey Graves about the Tongan death grip. They're talking about where it originated from. It came from Haku. They're talking about how sacred and how dangerous the move is, because it basically cuts off the air at the Adam's apple. And from there, it really just takes a toll on your ability to breathe, putting you down fairly quickly. But you only use it for desperation. And, you know, if it's last resort, that's when you pull out the Tongan death grip. I don't even know if I should be saying that word on YouTube, because that's a funky word in and of itself, if you know what I'm saying. But it is what it is. And maybe from here on out, I'll just call it the Tongan grip, because I'm not sure if that other word is something we can keep using. But somehow it just appears that Jacob Fatu has mastered this move, and we move on to the next segment. From there, they're recapping Joe Hendry with his concert, talking about Fire Logan Paul. And from there, they come out, they beat up on Joe Hendry. Street Profits come out to save the day. And we're moving into what's happening with the Vision. Paul Heyman shows up, because you see, like, man, you have Braun Breaker, you have Logan Paul, and you have Austin Theory. They're just kind of chatting it up. He's like, man, you see how I handled Seth Rollins, man? I beat this. I whooped him, bro. You see that? You see how I handled him? And then Paul Heyman comes up, and he's like, man, did you take care of Seth Rollins? Did you take him out? Oh, no, sir, I didn't. It's like, so then from there, Paul Heyman's looking at Logan. It's like, look, man, I know you want to destroy Joe Hendry, but I don't need you going to jail right now. Brock Lesnar retired on me. And the last thing I need is for you to go to jail because you didn't put your hands on Joe Hendry. So with that in mind, unfortunately, you're not going to be facing Joe Hendry tonight. Instead, Austin Theory will be facing Joe Hendry tonight, later on Raw. Let's see. From there, Penta is making his way to the ring as he's getting prepared for a tag team match with his partner Javon Evans as he goes up against Rusev and Ethan Page. Javon Evans and Rusev starts the match. This dang keyboard keeps blowing up. I gotta get better with that. Takes Javon Evans to the turnbuckle. Shoulder thrust to Javon. Just keeps shoulder thrusting into him. As eventually Javon Evans reverses. He strikes back, but Rusev responds, putting Javon down to the mat. From there, Rusev tags Ethan Page. Javon chops Ethan Page in the chest. He hits him with a vertical suplex. From there, he tags Penta. Javon hits a Hurricanrana to Rusev. Rusev ends up rolling out of the ring. From there, he's like, we outside. You know how he does it. And then he runs and he goes over the top rope. He's splashing on Rusev. After that, Penta actually hits the Penta driver on Ethan Page in the middle of the ring. He pins him, but Ethan Page kicks out at 2. From there, we go to break. When we come back to break, Rusev has complete control over Penta. Penta goes outside to bait Rusev. Rusev hits the apron. He goes down to ringside, but Penta goes back into the ring. Rusev follows him. He's on the apron, but as Rusev goes up on the apron, Penta hits him with a springboard clothesline. From there, he gets the tag on Javon, but before he could tag him, Rusev actually grabs Javon Evans to stop the tag from happening. From there, he tags Ethan Page to start beating up on Penta. Outside of the ring, you see that Rusev is gonna try to tackle. She's charging at Javon Evans, but he actually misses. Javon dodges that, and he actually hits the steel steps. From there, Penta hits Ethan Page with a backstabber. From there, Javon Evans tags in. He hits the stunner on Ethan Page with the hot tag. Javon goes outside on Rusev. Javon hits a springboard clothesline on Ethan Page, but he kicks out at 2. Javon's getting ready for a moonsault, but Ethan Page gets up and he actually lands on his feet. It was a very high moonsault, and he was able to land on his feet. It actually looked pretty cool from that camera angle. It looked actually pretty nice. From there, Javon hits a jump kick. He tags in Penta. Javon hits a suicide dive out into the ringside on Rusev. Javon Evans goes into the turnbuckle, but Ethan Page stops the move from happening. From there, Penta goes to the apron, but Ethan Page, with his smartness, with his intelligence, he interferes with Penta's move by grabbing the apron itself, and he shifts it over, which causes Penta to trip and fall onto ringside. From there, Rusev grabs Penta, throws him onto the commentator's table. From there, he throws him right back into the ring. Ethan Page hits a suplex, pins Penta 1, 2, 3, and Ethan Page pins your Intercontinental Champion via pinfall with a suplex. So from there, we move on to the next segment. We're backstage. We're about to go to break. So Ruca is making her way to the ring. And before we go into break, you'll see in the background that Austin Theory is having a conversation with Maxine Dupree. So we're not exactly sure what's going on with that, but you know how Triple H does his things. He likes to plant some seeds in the background to keep your mind moving, to get you thinking, like, what's going on? Is something happening here, or is it just turning into nothing? Like a lot of things that be happening around the shows. Not sure, but it's all good in the hood, man. Adam Pearce is in the ring. He introduces Sol Ruca, and before that, they're showing highlights of everything she's done in NXT, her interests in the Royal Rumble, her match with Bayley at Evolution 2. You know, Sol Ruca's good. You know, she's a good wrestler. Obviously, the Soul Snatcher is really gimmicky but flashy. It's a good move, but you know, it looks good when it's executed well. We'll get more into that in just a little bit. In fact, we're going to get into it right now. So, showing highlight videos of that, she comes out to new music. Yes, she got Def Rebelled yet again. So, I listened to this and I'm like, it's not that bad. Like her original theme song, what it was okay. It wasn't like catchy. It wasn't like something like, if they changed it, I wouldn't mind so much, because it was just a generic kind of like beach music. And this new version, it's still like generic beach music, but it's more kind of like what Stephanie Vaquer's like music should have been. Not like beach style, but like it's definite. You'll have to listen to it to understand what I'm talking about. But I honestly think, even though it got Def Rebelled again, I personally feel that her theme song now is a little bit better versus her original song. Not by much. Let's keep it real. It's not by much, but it's a little bit better. You leave your comments down below. Let me know. You listen to it. You let me know if her theme song's better or worse, or it should have just left it how it was. But from there, Adam Pearce congratulates Sol Ruca. The crowd is chanting, "You deserve it." Becky Lynch, from that point, Becky Lynch comes out. The man has come around. Right before Sol Ruca signs the contract to become a Raw superstar. Becky says she's upset because this was supposed to be her time. She's like, someone told me this is my slot. This is my time to talk about how great I am, all my accolades. And it's not me just saying that. ESPN says it. Bleacher Report says it. Twitter says it. And she didn't say that, but it is what it is. From there, Sol Ruca's like, are you done? Becky's out here flexing on her accolades. From there, Soul says not everything is about her. And from there, she's like, yeah, everything is about me, Miss Ruca. You knew around here, everything is about Becky Lynch, the man, Becky Lynch. Soul says that she's everything that she heard she was. A rude, big-headed bitch. That's what she said. And it's not just her saying that. Everyone else in the back is saying it. But from that point, Soul Ruca signs the contract. Becky's like, who is this? Who is she calling me this? What's going on here? And let's see. Soul says who she is. She says she's Soul Ruca, and if she interrupts her again, she will beat her ass and will take her soul. From there, Becky goes for Soul Ruca, but in trying to strike Soul Ruca, she accidentally hits Adam Pearce. From there, she's out there apologizing. Adam Pearce is making his way out of the ring. He's on the other side of the ropes. He's on the apron. It's like, why you keep doing this to me? Why I keep this? I need a drink. All this stuff. You know the stuff Adam Pearce says. He never has control of his own locker room. I don't understand. Can we have a quick conversation about that, by the way? This is Monday Night Raw. This is your premiere show. This is the A show. The premiere show on Netflix. Why is it can't Adam Pearce keep control of the locker room? This is not an issue on SmackDown. Yeah, they have a couple scuffles here and there, but you can tell that Nick Aldis has complete control over his locker room, and Adam Pearce can't keep the dogs at bay. He can't keep them controlled in the cage. They just go out everywhere. They lose their minds, and he's always out. You see Adam Pearce like 4 or 5 times a show. Sometimes he gets more time than the actual matches because you just see him out here breaking things up all the time. But that's just my opinion. I'm just messing, but still, seriously, when you look at the shows, you watch them, you can tell Nick Aldis has complete control of his shows. He doesn't mess around. Adam Pearce, I don't know what's happening, man. Control your dogs and your cats. Keep them in the cage. Just keep control of your show, please. You know what I'm saying? I'm just messing around, folks. I'm just messing. Oh my goodness. Anyways, from there, I got sidetracked, and I apologize. This happens sometimes, and I apologize, folks. But anyways, we go back to the situation. Adam Pearce gets struck accidentally by Becky Lynch. He makes his way to the other side of the ropes. As he's exiting the ring, this leaves Becky Lynch wide open for a soul snatcher. Now, unfortunately, when it was Soul Ruca's time to shine and snatch that soul from Becky Lynch, she's going towards the turnbuckle, and she normally goes on the second turnbuckle, if I understand correctly. She hits the second turnbuckle, she does a reverse, and then she hits her with a cutter, which is her soul snatcher, which, again, when it's executed properly and well, it's one of the craziest moves in WWE. She's highly praised for this move, but sometimes the opponent, they literally like make it seem as though like they're like trying to get snatched, like they're trying to grab, like I want to get into the cutter. Like you don't help the move when you're going out of your way to take the move. You see what I'm saying? It doesn't look good when that happens. But even then, like, so anyways, she goes on the bottom turnbuckle. She steps on the bottom turnbuckle. She kind of slips a little bit, but she recovers. Then she hits the soul snatcher on Becky Lynch. But unfortunately, yeah, it was botched, and it was like, damn, man. Damn, this is your first impression. You only get one shot, especially around here. They barely give you a year, and you mess around, you out the door. So it is what it is. Obviously they're not going to do Soul Ruca like that. I hope they don't, but we've been surprised recently, so we don't know what's going on over there. Anyways, they're recapping the Usos, telling Jacob Fatu that Roman has first dibs on Jacob. From there, they're backstage. It's Jackie Redmond. She catches up with the Usos while they're backstage. Jimmy says, look, it's a big night, and they did not want to miss this signing. They want to make sure that the signing goes as smooth as possible. More on that later. Jay says this family business, and they are there to make sure everything goes smoothly. Also, Jay said that. My bad. Already messed up. Golly. So it is what it is. Jay says this. So Jay says he's making sure everything goes smoothly. The OTC knows how to handle himself, and Jay says Jacob is swimming in dark water now. That he has a bit, he's bit off more than he can chew. He's swinging for the fences, and although they respect that, the bloodline has been drawn, and at Backlash, Jacob will find out who he's messing with. Jay wishes Jacob good luck. In my opinion, that was a pretty good, like 1-2 minute promo from the Usos, letting them know what it is. And we'll get more on that. If I can remind myself, in fact, I'm going to talk about that. I'm just going to write this in before I forget. The Usos. We'll talk about that towards the end. If I can remember, we'll cover it. All right. So from there, Joe Hendry. They said his name, so the man appeared. Do you believe in Joe Hendry? Anyway, he's making his way towards the ring for his match against Austin Theory. During the break, he grabs his guitar. So apparently we're running back what we did last week, which was this concert talking about firing Logan Paul. Before the match, Joe Hendry thought Omaha would like a concert. He wants to do an apology concert for Logan Paul. He said he would like it. So the song essentially is a repeat from last week. Fire Logan Paul. Honestly, like this, like even the crowd's getting involved in this now. Like they're chanting Fire Logan Paul. Like I don't fault them for that. I'm sure we all have an interesting opinion on Logan Paul. We cannot like refute his ability in the ring. He respects wrestling, so you have to give him credit for that. But for all the other things that's going on outside of wrestling, fire that dude. But you know they're not going to do that. He says he's not fireable. Is it true? Maybe. Who knows? You know, it is what it is. From there, they're just running back the same concert from last week. And I believe it's toned down considering what's been happening these last few weeks. You couldn't create a better or a different lyric for what's going on. A funky choice of lyrics for this current situation. But anyways, from there, the Vision storms out. You know, Logan Paul's upset. How dare you talk about this? You can't fire me. I'm unfireable, blah, 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 like all that stuff. Anyways, it causes a slight distraction. Austin Theory essentially hits Joe Hendry from behind. The match starts. From there, Austin Theory has complete control. He's beating down Joe Hendry. The crowd is chanting, Logan sucks. Logan sucks. Is it true? Does Logan Paul suck? Leave comments down below. At this point, Austin Theory hits a suplex and is taunting with Logan Paul. You know, he's out here flexing. From there, Joe Hendry reverses the Judgement suplex with one of his own. Joe Hendry is striking back, hits a clothesline, followed by a fall away slam. Joe Hendry does his pose, you know, when he turns around and, you know, when you say his name and he appears, you know what he does? Got it. From there, Logan Paul gets involved. He runs into the ring and he hits Joe Hendry from behind, causing a DQ. The Vision continues to beat up on Joe Hendry. And of course, I'm thinking about this. I'm like, he's getting beat down. You know what this means? Where the Street Profits at? Where the Street Profits at? It took about a minute or two, a little bit longer than I thought. But no, then they finally came out. Of course, here comes the Street Profits to save the day for a third time. It's like, they're going for the tag team championships. I'm like, first off, the Street Profits have been off television. Honestly, I feel like for a whole year. I'm not even joking when I say this. These folks, these brothers have been off television for at least 6 months. We have not seen or heard it. And remember, last time we saw the Street Profits before this 3-week run, they were virtually about to break up. They were feuding against one another. They just weren't on the same page. They were on the verge of breaking up. And all of a sudden, now they are entwined and they're together. They're one again. Like, please help me understand what happened between them being on the verge of breaking up to now, like, we boys again. Everything is cool. We worked it out. We talked it up. We went to the crib and we were, you know, we were cooking it up, having a good ass barbecue, watching some good ass football. And we were just having a good ass conversation, talking about, man, what happened? Look, none of that shit happened on television. They just got back together like everything's cool, like nothing happened. What's going on, writing team? What's going on, Mr. Paul Levesque? What's going on, writing team? Can we make sense of this? Plus, they're gunning for the tag team championships. What have they done? to deserve a tag team championship match. They haven't had any qualifying matches. Hell, there's not any tag teams on these shows. Where are the tag teams? Where is the War Raiders? Where is Los Gatos? They're out here getting singled out by Royce Keys on SmackDown. They're not doing tag team. They're getting crushed and squashed one star at a time, right? You got rid of the Motor City Machine Guns. You got rid of YS6. Alpha Academies wearing masks. What's going on? You know what I'm saying? Like, what are we doing with the tag team division? You're just gonna give them tag team title shots for just running in and saving Joe Hendry's ass? Where's the story on that? There is no story. They're just, we're hungry for tag team championships. We don't need to qualify for it. We demand it. We're gonna get it. That's a great story. And look, man, look, I'm never gonna hate on these brothers. I'm never gonna hate on Street Profits, man. They're good folks, but man, like, where's the story on this? It's just, let's save the day and we just automatically get title shots. And we don't know where that's going anyway, so it doesn't even matter. Right now, it's just they keep coming in to save the day for Joe Hendry. Anyways, here comes the Street Profits. They come to save him yet again for a third time. Angelo Dawkins has Austin Theory in the electric chair because Ford he's on the turnbuckle. They're about to hit their finisher on him. But before they could do that, here comes Braun Breaker. He runs into the ring. He takes Ford and he suplexes him out of the ring. He goes ringside. Then Braun Breaker is about to spear Angelo Dawkins. But before he can hit the spear on Angelo Dawkins, here comes Seth Rollins. He shows up. This should receipt back on Braun Breaker. From there, let's see who is. Montez Ford. MF is Montez Ford. See, it's been a minute. See, like when I don't see folks like that, I forget names. You see what I'm saying? I can't get invested and I don't remember who these folks are. It's hard to like remember who these folks are when they barely show up on television. So anyways, Montez Ford runs back into the ring and he's running from one corner of the ring to the other corner of the ring and he jumps over the turnbuckle. It hits everybody who's out there. So your Logan Paul, your Austin Theory, your Joe Hendry. He just jumps over Seth Rollins over the turnbuckle, hits his awesome like somersault through over the turnbuckle. But that's always a great spot. And Montez Ford always makes that look great. But as he does this, it actually causes a distraction to Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins is ready to stomp on Braun Breaker in the middle of the ring, but it was enough time for Braun Breaker to recover and then hit Seth Rollins with yet another spear. So we got Seth Rollins laid out yet again. He's laid out twice tonight. So maybe he's coming out the winner at this PLE for Backlash. But other than that, we go backstage and now Jackie is with the Judgment Day. She's asking Judgment Day, what's their new focus? What's next for the Judgment Day? All they want is the gold. We going for all the gold. As you know, Liv Morgan is your women's championship. We put Stephanie Vaquer on the shelf. So now we're going to be focusing on the tag team championships for Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez. From there, they're talking about this. Raquel Rodriguez has the match. She's talking like, yeah, man, y'all need to come through our show. Come to Raw. She's challenging Paige and Nikki Bella for the championships. Come on over and challenge us on Raw for the women's tag team championships. And while she's talking about this, here comes Lyra Valkyria and Bayley. When they show up and start talking, we barely hear them because, at this point, you have the microphone, but they also have a shotgun mic on camera just so when other people start coming in, you can hear them. But they didn't have it set up, so you could barely hear what Bayley was saying. So they pan to Bayley and Lyra Valkyria. There is crickets in the crowd. No reaction at all. Yeah, that's right. No pop. Goddamn. No pop for Bayley and Lyra Valkyria. That is absolutely insane, man. It's crazy. But anyways, they essentially reminded Judgment Day what they did to them. You think you're just going to ask for a title shot? But we have some unfinished business here. That's essentially what Bayley said. But they essentially shrug it off and they just walk away. And that's the end of the segment. Oh my goodness. So now they're recapping a segment from Sami Zayn last week, killing the gingerbread man. We're not going to go over the details there. It was a gruesome segment. He ripped off an arm and whipped off an elbow or button. I'm not even going to go over it anymore. There's a memoriam for the gingerbread man this coming Friday on SmackDown. Yeah. The gingerbread man. Moving on. Oba Femi's marching his way to the ring, getting ready for the Oba Femi Open Challenge. May the Open Challenge commence. That's exactly what he said. May the Oba Femi Open Challenge begin. So, who is the person coming through that curtain? Who's going to challenge Oba Femi? Who's the next person down the line? And then you hear Alpha Academy's music coming down, and it looks like it's Akira Tozawa. I'm sitting here like, bro, are you serious? This is Akira Tozawa. That's what it looked like at first. So they march to the ring. It's Maxine Dupree. It's Akira Tozawa and Otis. They march towards the ring. Akira Tozawa goes in there. He's squaring up Oba Femi, looking straight at him. He's like, no, sir. And so he walks back towards the ropes. He's like, I'm not doing this. And so Otis like, okay, I'll do it. And so he gets ready. He walks in the ring. He squares up on Oba Femi, and then we get this thing going. So Oba steps up and challenges Oba Femi for the Oba Femi challenge. They tie up. This is a pretty quick match. Otis charges at Oba Femi. He hits him with a shoulder. No effect. He just takes it and essentially shrugs it off and laughs. It's like like nothing. You know, like when you're watching for those of you who like retro video games, you play Donkey Kong Country and you try to hit one of those big alligators with the helmet, the general like alligators, and you try to hit him with Diddy Kong. He's like he's laughing at you. That's essentially what happened. So then Oba goes to Otis, hits him with a shoulder, no effect. It's like, okay, I can square up with you too. We can do the shoulder press. We can do this. This goes back and forth. But ultimately, Oba takes down Otis with force, with a very, very strong shoulder block. Like, he just knocks him off to the mat. From there, Oba picks up Otis. Like, he hits him, you know, he picks him from behind and he tosses him like last week's garbage. Facts. Like, he just picks him up and just handles him like nothing, bro. I'm like, damn. So Oba Femi is about to finish up Otis. He's about to prepare him for the powerbomb for the fall from grace. But he's like, you know what? Otis, he a big boy. He a big dude. I don't think I could do that. So what he does, he takes him to the turnbuckle. He gets him up to the second turnbuckle. It was looking kind of funky, but from there, he goes under Otis. He puts him in the powerbomb position. He hits him with a fall from grace. 1, 2, 3. That's it. Oba Femi wins the match via pinfall. From there, we go backstage, and essentially it's Seth Rollins aching in pain yet again, but this time he's thanking Montez for it. It's like, hey, thanks for getting involved and interfering and keeping me from getting my receipt back to Braun Breaker. And he's like, ain't no thing but a chicken wing, buddy. He didn't say those things. I am paraphrasing, but Seth and Montez Ford, they haven't really been on the same page for the last few weeks. Like, obviously they're trying to we have the same goal, right? They're trying to fend off the division and, you know, keep them off of them and keep them from just keep beating them up every single week, right? But it's like, look, man, we don't care about Seth Rollins, man. Everything's about you. What about the Street Profits? Well, what about the Street Profits? What have y'all done? You haven't done much. You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is. At the end of the day, Seth's like, look, stay out of my way. You stay out of my way, I stay out of your way. Okay? You got it? That was it. From there, you see a video clip of Jacob Fatu entering the arena. Roman Reigns is still kind of in Adam Pearce's office, is talking to him. You can't hear what he's saying, but it's just talking Adam Pearce's ear off. And from there, we go to break. We return from break. You have Iyo Sky and Asuka. They have a backstage segment pre-recorded for a go-home show going to Backlash for a match between Iyo Sky and Asuka. A pre-recorded segment. They were talking in their native language. You know, they kind of mix in English along with their Japanese. But I'm just gonna go ahead and summarize what they said. Iyo, since that Asuka, you know, although I did respect you at one point, Asuka is not the same person anymore, and I must fight you now. From there, Asuka says that Iyo has been her biggest disappointment, and at Backlash, Asuka will take Iyo out of her life for good. Just be done with it. This is it. From there, they start squaring each other up. They're looking at each other. They're sitting beside one another. They're facing each other side to side. They're looking at each other. And from there, they're close. And then, you know, Asuka does what Asuka does and sprays her with the blue mist. Io's, you know, obviously losing her mind because she just got hit in the face with blue mist. She's blinded. She's in pain. Adam's like, go get the medical. Go get medical. Oh my God. Like, you know. But it was pre-recorded. It's like, really? We're really doing a pre-recorded segment for this match? I mean, essentially, that's obvious that this creative just doesn't give a shit about this. And it's sad because these folks, Asuka and Iyo Sky, along with Kairi Sane, have been cooking this thing for months. This payoff should have been at WrestleMania, but unfortunately, it's going to Backlash. So hopefully, they put on a good show. I hope that this is the match of the show, because they deserve everything. They really do. And it's unfortunate that it has come to this kind of build. From there, 1 second. All right, we're back. So from there, we are going to break. Essentially, Byron Saxton is talking with the new Americanos, you know, Ludwig and his minions, his henchmen. I can't keep track of the names. I'm telling you, I'm serious here. So the 6-man tag goes underway. I didn't really keep track because it was just so much, and there's so much going on now. And of course, then you have Brutus and Julius wearing masks now, and they changed their names a little bit. I'm like, I can't keep track of this shit, man. I can't do it. So I would just talk about some things that I enjoyed from this match. One being Chad Gable, Americano. He hits a double reverse human suplex on both of Ludwig Kaiser's henchmen, which did look pretty sick. It looked like he was going for a triple, but Ludwig actually gets away from that, and it ended up just being a double super German suplex, which looked pretty cool. He pulls up another one where, you know, he holds it, and, you know, it's awkward where the opponent is off their feet, but Chad Gable is so strong that he can just hold you. He kind of like cradles you and holds you mid-air, and he holds it before he just like hits you with that reverse German suplex. That looks badass. You know, I have to give him credit for that, because that takes a lot of core strength, not only to just pull off the move, but to hold the move. That's next level. It really is. You don't see anybody else doing that. So, you know, shout outs to Chad Americano doing that. But at the end of the day, the finish was OG Americano hits one of the henchmen with a diving headbutt. I wasn't sure if he put the metal piece in, but let's assume they did, because that's all they do for the finishers anyways. And then he beats one of the henchmen via pinfall. 1, 2, 3. They go over the PLE card. So as we are going through all of this, we'll talk about the card real quick. You have Roman Reigns versus Jacob Fatu for the World Heavyweight Championship. You have Iyo Sky versus Asuka. There's no stipulations. It's just a one-on-one match. And I'm not exactly sure what the payoff is, because your payoff, you released. There's Dan Housing and a mystery partner versus The Miz and Kit Wilson. Yes, that's a match on the PLE. You have Seth freaking Rollins going up against Braun Breaker. And I think that's it. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's those 5 matches that I just mentioned. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4. Isn't there a 5th match? There might be a 5th match. I'm actually gonna go and check. Sorry, folks. I just want to make sure I give you all the information that I can, because I don't want to give you the incorrect information. Backlash, where are you? There it is. It's not in St. Louis though. This is in Florida this time around. My goodness. Let's see. I can't keep track. Trick Williams versus Sami Zayn for the United States Championship. I don't know why I forgot to write that down. But you got Trick Williams going up against Sami Zayn. Maybe we'll make another video and kind of make predictions on who might win those matches. But we'll see. It kind of just depends what's going on, especially with the NBA playoffs right now. It's fire. The East side, the Nets went up against the 76ers, and that was a complete blow up. I'm like, I'm not watching that garbage. I'm not watching a blowout. But over on the West side, where competition is good, San Antonio Spurs going up against the Minnesota Timberwolves, man. Ooh, that was fire from wire to wire. Boy, oh boy. And of course, it came down to the last shot. No blowouts on the West side. We give you something worth watching. Just saying, man. Y'all need to tighten up over out East. So it is what it is. But going back to the review, I'm sorry we got sidetracked. I had to talk about it. Then also, there is a segment that John Cena is going to make an appearance. Not sure if he's actually hosting the entire show, or they did mention that he does have a big announcement. What is that announcement? We have no idea, but we will figure that out when that time comes. Honestly, folks, there's no announcement you can tell me other than WWE, we have sold yet again. We're independent, or we're under someone else's ownership, because TKO stinks. Sucks. This absolute dog doo-doo, bro. TKO, this partnership is an absolute train wreck. It sucks. It absolutely sucks. It obviously is profit over actual entertainment. That's usually the case with most things, but it is what it is, right? It is what it is. So from there, Roman Reigns is making his way towards the ring. You know, your OTC of WWE, your tribal chief, Roman Reigns.
I'm the tribal chief around here. Yeah, you see me, the tribal chief. That's right.
That's correct. I'm going to keep it correct. But anyways, he's making his way through the ring for the upcoming contract signing. Adam's already in the ring. He introduces Jacob Fatu. He makes his way to the ring. Adam Pearce says, look, man, let's make this match official. You already know how this goes. Well, you know how contract signings normally goes. But it is what it is. The crowd is chanting Roman Reigns, Roman Reigns. You know how it goes. Roman demands acknowledgement from Omaha, Nebraska. He's like, you know how this goes, Adam. We're not going to start this. You know how this is. Omaha, Nebraska. You know how it goes. Where is it?
Acknowledge me.
That's usually how it goes. Anyways, the crowd chants OTC, and then he starts talking. And at this point, I wrote word for word the promo from both sides. So I'm like, this is big enough that it's worth me actually listening to it. And this is where I'm like, I need to enjoy this myself first before I start writing this shit, because it takes me out the moment when I'm writing this stuff to share with everybody. And I don't mind doing it, but I made the decision of, you know what? I'm going to actually enjoy the segment first. Then I'm just going to go back and then write it up and go from there. But this is what Roman has to say to start things up. He says, you hear that, Jacob? That's not just love. That's the sound of respect. The crowd cheers for that. You don't think I know where you come from, little cousin? You don't think I was watching from afar? That respect wasn't earned from just hanging out here. No. You was grinding for what, 12 years? Well, I've been here for over 12 years. I was the one in this company that had my foot holding the door for Solo. Solo was the one that brought you in, huh? Well, I brought Solo in. So that means I brought you in. And I will be damned if there's not respect to be had in this business for me. Crowds chanting OTC. You see, with that respect, there's got to be a code. There has to be some kind of honor system amongst our family. We can't just run around here and regard everybody and run roughshod. No, there's got to be a system of conduct. that we bring, that we can hang our hats on. You understand? The tongue and grip. You disrespect me with something that you save for desperate measures. I mean, what do you think this is? You think we at the bar at 3 a.m., you surrounded by 8 to 1? That's when you pull out the tongue and grip. That's when you snap everyone's throat. You don't do that to family. You don't do that to your own. And you don't do that to your tribal chief. Jafa picks up the mic. He says, wait, hold on. What? Tribal chief? Hey, that's where you got it all wrong, where you don't understand. Yes, I am desperate. Yes, I feel like it's me against the world. Yes, my back is against the wall. So I had no other choice but to take you out, take this title, and everything that comes with it. Want to keep it 100? Now I'm going to put a chokehold on this game, and I'm going to squeeze every dollar and every cent, just like this company has been doing our family for decades. So when I'm talking about all gas, no brakes with it, it doesn't mean slowing down. It means moving forward and never going back where I come from. So yes, Roman, I am desperate. I'm desperate enough to do anything for my household. Even I got to run through my own blood. At that point, Roman interrupts. That's what I'm talking about here. Household, man, let me just get this. Let's just get it out the way. So he grabs the contract and he signs it. And as he signs it, the crowd's cheering. So Roman now takes the mic and he takes over in this promo. He says, you over here talking about your household. I just told you I've been here for over a decade, grinding for multiple households. You worried about 7 kids? I'm worried about over 170 kids that fulfill our family. You worried about higher education? I'm worried about generation after generation of higher education. Because I'm the one that can do that. I got the proof of concept. I got the respect. This company, they want to do business with me. I already told you. I told Brock a long time ago, this is all mine. This is my ring. And yes, in my family, we're equals. We're of the same blood. But in this ring, Jacob, you're beneath me. So from that point, Jacob snaps. He storms Roman. Jacob goes for the tongue and grip, but Roman counters by the turnbuckle. He keeps punching on Jacob from 2 at this point. Roman picks up one of the commentator tables that they set up for this the signature segment, signing the contract. And he throws it at Jacob Fatu. It connects. Roman grabs the title, but in doing so, Jacob catches Roman with the tongue and grip yet again. Roman gets out of it and starts the beat on Jacob Fatu at the turnbuckle. While Roman gets up on the turnbuckle to keep beating on Roman, Jacob goes over for the tongue and grip again. Roman gets out of it and hits Jacob Fatu with a Superman punch, but actually doesn't connect. Jacob intercepts this and hits him with that tongue and grip yet again. This time it's locked in. Roman's fading. Adam gets involved. Adam Pearce. He tries to help to, release that grip, but he can't. He's struggling. And while he's doing this, Roman's trying to grab onto him as well as onto Jacob to try to get out of this grip. He's unable to get out of the grip. So from there, Jacob slams Roman Reigns into the table. Doesn't break. Yikes. I don't think they got that one set up. But from there, he puts Roman down. He is out. He's laid out in the middle of the mat. Jacob picks up the contract. He signs the contract and he slams it onto the mat. The crowd is chanting Fatu, exit the ring, and that was it. So, real quick, when it comes to the Usos, I wanted to talk about this because this is like the second time that I can think of where they are in segments, but they don't get involved in Roman's business. When Roman's out there, he went out there with Jacob Fatu, Jacob takes him out, but the Usos don't come out to get involved. Now this week is interesting because they said right in that promo earlier that they want to make sure that the signing goes smoothly, but it was anything but smooth. And then while, you know, Jacob is out here putting down Roman Reigns, there's no Usos. They ain't coming out to save Roman yet again. So that's interesting. We'll see how this plays out for Backlash. Certainly the Usos get involved, but there has to be some other twist in this. You know, the Bloodline's probably just in the first inning, and you're just in the middle before they hit the second inning at this point. When it comes to the Bloodline storyline, we are in the Bloodline storyline for the foreseeable future. We don't know where this goes, but just wanted to mention that. It's like, although the Usos said they wanted to make sure the contract signing goes smoothly, they were not involved at all. And then there was a bunch of time when this beatdown was happening and they didn't come out. So we're not exactly sure what happened there. But there you go. That is your review for Monday Night Raw, which is May the 4th, 2026 in Omaha, Nebraska. Overall, I felt the show was pretty decent. It was straight to the point. There were some areas where it's like, man, I feel bad for Lyra, Valkyria, and Bayley. They're doing nothing with them, but also the story doesn't make no sense, right? Like, Bayley was two-faced at one point. Like, if you punched her in the face in the wrong direction, she started to go crazy, went off on you, right? But that just stopped. Like, there wasn't no resolution to that. There's no story talking about what happened. Well, why is she just normal now? She's just Bayley. And then, of course, the Street Profits is like, look, it's like, I like these folks, but what are they doing to actually deserve a title shot against the Vision? Just getting involved with Joe Hendry to save him while beating down the Vision. That just automatically garners them a title shot? I don't get that. The Roman thing is interesting because obviously there's been a lot of chatter that he's not scheduled for June shows at all, meaning he's going to miss Night of Champions. Now, if you're missing Night of Champions, is he a champion? Is he dropping the title to Jacob Fatu this coming Saturday? I have no idea what this means, right? We have no idea. We just have to let this stuff cook and go from there. I mean, obviously there's a lot of chatter, there's a lot of rumors out there. Maybe there's an issue with his contract and he's like having a second, like, he has to change of heart now. It's like, man, if y'all gonna do all this to all of us, why am I going on my way to do all this for y'all, right? But again, everything is just rumor and chatter. We don't have everything set in stone. Shout outs to Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods. They both, within like 20-30 minutes of one another, both released a closing statement of their careers with WWE. They were pretty lengthy posts on X, and they were pretty emotional. I wouldn't say emotional. I think it would be actually, I take that back. It was really emotional because they're talking about their careers and the time they had on, with WWE and how they ended up connecting with the New Day. And it's like, Xavier was talking about up, up, down, down, about how that changed, his perspective on his career and stuff like that. It was pretty, when you stay connected to folks like that, it's very disheartening when you see stuff like that. Let me see if I can find it. I know I did I not save this? I should have. No, I did not. There was a quote that Kofi said that just makes sense. I did save it. It just didn't. I guess it didn't for him. But he said something that I think we all need to just take in consideration, right? And it was a long one, but I'll leave you with this. Do not ever compromise or accept less than your due when it comes to your worth. I think at that point right there, it's like, you trying to do me like this after what we've gone through for 18 years. I think Xavier was 16 years. And that's how you're gonna do them. They took a stand. They're like, no, we're not taking this deal and we're walking away. Grant our releases and that's it. It's very unfortunate, but it is what it is. I hope that, if they continue to do wrestling, that, someone snatches them up real quick and they dominate like they deserve. They busted their butts. They did some stuff. They did some risk, and that's something that it's hard to do. So it is what it is, man. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we got through it. I feel pretty good. It was an hour and a half, and this was cool. You know, I had a good time just sitting here and taking notes. I did this before and that felt pretty good. I received some feedback saying they liked all the details. I'm like, okay, I'm go ahead and do that, and I'm gonna continue to do it. So we'll see how this turns out. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, we'll keep switching to see what happens. But me personally, I'm just happy that I was able to fix my issue with the microphone. One thing I've always kind of been like, man, why can't my audio sound as good as everyone else's? It's because I was doing it wrong. It's that simple. My ass was just straight up doing it wrong. Is what it is, man. So yeah, we got this all dialed in. I think I'm definitely gonna go ahead and review this. We'll see if we turn this into small little clips and post those up and go from there. But yeah, man, I hope when you see this that you enjoy it. Leave your comments and feedback down below. Let me know what you think about this episode of Monday Night Raw. Let me know who you think is going to be winning these matches come Backlash. And me personally, like, I'll watch it. I won't be watching it live just because I'm working on Saturday. I don't get off till 5. It starts at 3, which that's another thing I wanted to talk about real quick. They have part of the first hour is on ESPN too. So that whole thing is just strange. I mean, if it worked at Mania, then I would imagine they're doing it again because it worked. Otherwise, why would they keep doing this, right? And I just feel like the first hour, when you do it that way, you devalue the premium live event. That's just my opinion. Like how they used to do it is, you know, before a pay-per-view, they would have Sunday Night Heat, and they would have an hour of just like video highlights, getting you prepared for what you're about to witness for the pay-per-view, and they might have a match or two before the pay-per-view started. And that was cool. And they would do Heat every Sunday, and then when the pay-per-views fall on that Sunday, they would do Sunday Night Heat an hour before the show started. But like, they didn't give you a part of that pay-per-view onto Sunday Night Heat. They didn't do it back then, but they're doing that now, and it's strange. It's kind of jarring, but it is what it is. I keep saying that. I gotta work on some stuff, man. I gotta work on my vocabulary because it's getting all mixed up. But all right, folks, we're gonna go ahead and call it. I want to thank you all so much again for hanging out with your boy JD. Once again, call to action. You don't mind if it doesn't even matter if you didn't even enjoy this video, hit a thumbs down, because engagement is better than nothing, right? Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you thought. And without further ado, thank you again for hanging out with your boy JD. Without further ado, take care. Peace out.